Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to the channel. I'm Stylosa, and Helldivers 2 has taken win after win after win over the 3 months or so since the game launched, and then today takes a massive L. Well, let me break this down for you because it's very weird, but this is definitely pressure from Sony when it comes to actually creating a PSN account to play on PC specifically. We're also going to talk about the new armor in the Warbond because, again, armor in this game has got some very weird descriptions, and then the perks for said armor doesn't actually match what the description says, which is very, very weird. Okay, let's break all of this down. So a few hours ago in the UK, you can see the timestamp on this screenshot here, so 7:30 a.m. BST. So this is very early hours of the morning. Well, at least for me anyway. This tweet pops up and it says, Helldivers, an important message from our partner PlayStation about account linking for PC players and its significance in providing player safety features. Read the full message here. So straight away you're like, okay, player safety, Sony, notorious for getting their bloody data constantly hacked. I mean, it's like, okay, if anything, your data is not going to be very safe with them anyway, and I don't know how this is going to provide player safety. Oh wait, it's about actually collecting more data off you, because I don't think Sony like the idea of Steam having all the data on a game that it's, well, publishing. Anyway, let's take a look at this message, because this is where it gets interesting. But this is the message, and it says, Helldivers, or attention Helldivers, due to technical issues at the launch of Helldivers 2, we allowed the linking requirements for Steam accounts to a PlayStation Network account to be temporarily optional. That grace period will now expire. See details below in this post. Now, we need to address that straight away because you could be of the mindset where you do not want any Sony account at all connected to your game. Now, for a start, you are actually buying a game published by Sony, so you've got to expect that to kind of be somewhere in the small print. And in fact, it is on the Steam page. It does say the game requires a PSN account. Although, you would buy the game, play the game, you don't have to sign up to the PSN account, so you're just playing with effectively a Steam account. Now, there are countries in the world where you cannot actually sign up for a PSN account. To get around that, yeah, you could use a VPN, but are we literally in a world where these mega conglomerates are saying, like, no, just go and do illegal stuff in your territory to actually continue playing our game? Because you've got to remember, this is a requirement now. If you do not make a PSN account and link it with your Steam account, you will not be able to play Helldivers 2. Now, this is the second issue with all of this, is the timing. This is 3 months down the line. You will not get refunds for this game now. There are players who would like to refund Helldivers 2 because they don't want a PSN account, and I completely understand that. You probably won't be able to do that. Now, is this illegal? It probably is illegal because they're literally selling you something which you then do not have access to a few months down the line because of a feature they decided to disable when you first bought the game. This is not on the consumer at all, and this honestly is a bit of an issue, and I can really see why people are getting pissed about this. I can absolutely see, to be honest. Anyway, the post goes on to say, account linking plays a critical role in protecting our players and upholding the values and safety of security provided on PlayStation and PlayStation Studio games. This is our main way to protect players from griefing and abuse by enabling the banning of players that engage in that type of behaviour. It also allows those players that have been banned the right to appeal. So that's a load of bollocks, basically, because they can still do that on Steam. This is all about... I mean, I would put my cynical cap on and say this is all about Sony going, holy shit, Helldivers has got a load of players, but wait a minute, like 50% of them are over on PC and they're on Steam. They're not even on PSN. We need to get them to make PSN accounts so we can go to our shareholders and say, hey, look at this, we've got a shitload more players signing up to PSN. That's basically all it is. So that paragraph is complete bollocks. They then go on to say, as such, as of May the 6th, all Helldivers 2 players on Steam will be required to connect their Steam account to a PlayStation Network account. Current players on Steam will start to see the mandatory login from May the 30th and will be required to have a linked Steam and PlayStation Network account by June the 4th. PlayStation Network accounts are free and easy to set up using this link. We understand that while this might be an inconvenience to some of you, this step will help us continue to build a community that you're all proud to be part of. Many thanks for your continued support of Helldivers 2. And then at the end it says Sony Interactive Entertainment. And I think, yeah, this is the devs basically going, Sony have forced us to do this. We don't want to do this, but we've got to do this because we've got into bed with them for a publishing agreement, and they've, you know, got certain demands that they're placing on us. So for me personally, I'm not too fussed with this because I mean I think I linked my account when I downloaded the game. I'm not even sure, I can't even remember. I'm not an avid PlayStation player. I do have a PSN account. I've got a PS5, but it's been a long time since I played it. In fact, the last time I played it was Horizon, the Horizon VR game, which actually is fairly good, to be honest, as a VR game. But yeah, the rest of the VR games kind of crap on PlayStation. They didn't really develop it, but I think PC support's coming for that fairly soon. But anyway, that's going off on a tangent. We've got an issue here where they are going to force you to make a PSN account. I understand if you don't want to give your data away to PlayStation, maybe you don't even have a PSN account, you're playing on PC. Of course, this doesn't affect people who are playing on PSN. There's no change for those. I mean, you're playing on PlayStation anyway. But for PC, it is a bit of a shock. But this is kind of understandable because the game did actually sort of say, you know, you will require this account before you bought the game. But here's the thing, and this is almost the end of the story. They waived this. They said, look, you don't need a PSN account. You can just go and play. And they left it for 3 months. Now they're coming back and saying, you need a PSN account. And if you don't sign up for it, you won't be able to play the game that you paid for. That is shit. That is absolutely shit. And if you are of the mindset where you want nothing to do with that, I completely back that. That's a totally fine position to take. All right, guys, let's move on. This is obviously a bit of a hot topic at the moment. So let me know what you think about this stuff in the comments below. There's a new major order update. Contain the Sony security breaches. Order overview. Create a PlayStation Network account. Reward 45 medals. Right, and let's talk about this armor, because this armor is... Oh, Lord. So this is the Polar Patriots armor. Now, there's 3 new armor sets, and they've all got a description and an armor passive. Now, we'll ignore the fact that there's spelling mistakes and all of that stuff, and it feels like ChatGPT generated crap, this article. But anyway, this armor is the CW36 Winter Warrior. It looks really good. You can see it's very heavily inspired by a Stormtrooper. But it says in a description, blend into snowy environments with perfect camouflage. The enemy will never see you coming until it's far too late. Ah, the sweet smell of stealth. Passive boost, serve assisted. Well, I think they mean servo assisted there, which of course just means you can throw further. And then you can see the comment at the bottom from the Reddit post says, why is the passive servo assisted when the description talks about camouflage and stealth? Shouldn't the passive then be scout, reduces range at which enemies detect by 30%? Not complaining though, this armor is sick and I'll definitely be grinding for it. This is the thing, innit? It makes no sense. And this is happening a lot with armor in the game. There's also another post talking about this as well. Again, the same type of thing. New armor set is a stealth armor that doesn't make you stealthy. It makes you throw further. It's like an apple that tastes like bacon. Well, I've heard that before. And this is where I've heard it from. That's right. The CEO dropped this tweet a while ago and basically said, we're not doing transmog. It doesn't make sense. Equipment looks different because it has different effects. Swapping one for the other is like having an apple that tastes like bacon, or the other way around. So this is the debate, isn't it? Armor in the game doesn't necessarily match its description, and it doesn't... I mean, the perks, I think, honestly, are a bit boring for armor as well. There are a lot of things they could do, even going back to the Winter Warrior armor. I mean, why doesn't that make you resistant to fire damage? I mean, it's supposed to be armor for, you know, protecting you against the cold, so surely it would be, I don't know, good against environmental effects, or even just make it protect you against environmental effects. Anyway, we know they can do this because they've done this in the I forget the name of it, the electric one, the electric Warbond, where you had the resistance to arc weapon damage. So we know they can do this, right? They need to be more creative with these because they're just not great. I mean, servo assisted on an armor that looks like you're a stormtrooper, that says in the description it's designed to be stealthy and blend you in. Actually, the perk does nothing. Literally makes no sense, does it? Now, I think what they're doing is they've just got flavor text. They're just going, oh, the armor's white, so snow's white. You blend into the armor. Oh, yeah, that's really cool. So that's just an effect of it anyway. Of course, in the game, makes no sense because the AI doesn't care what color you are. It just looks at you and goes, does user have this perk on armor? No. Okay, I do this. So if user has recon scout perk, I cannot detect or engage until I'm 30% closer or whatever. I'm not a programmer, but I'm sure it's something like that. Yeah, it makes no sense. This, though, this is actually sick. This is what they should be doing with armor perks. And I hope that they're thinking about this in the future or even working on it now, and we'll see it in some sort of future update, because they really need to be more creative with this. They can't just keep giving us the same things over and over. So this user on Reddit, I'm going to give you a shout out. It's WoodNCO02. This is an awesome idea. Obviously, there's a link to the video description, or in the video description, to all of this stuff, but it shows the 3 armors, and you've got the one on the left, it's got the scout perk, yeah, okay. One in the middle's got fortified, the one on the right's got the servo assisted, right? Okay. However, why can't they have things like this? So potentially a dampener field reduces noise generated by movements and actions by 50%. Okay, that seems all right. But this, or reactive camo, temporary invisibility when stationary for more than 4 seconds. Enemies do not lose vision of you if already in sight. Maybe that would be a cool little effect. Thermal vision. This would be ace. Look at this. See-through smoke and fog. Highlighted enemies increase discovery range of secondary objectives by 50 meters. That'd be a cool thing to have. It make you think, okay, you could also say things like thermal vision could be a helmet mod. We don't have those at the moment. So helmet perks would be good, wouldn't they? Arrowhead, they would. But also cape perks would be cool as well. And then what about this? For the Winter Warrior. Environmental resistance. Reduce damage taken by environmental effects by 20%. Reduce slowing effects by 70%. These would be insane, right? This is the path they need to go down with the armor perks. And I'm hoping that they are going to do that eventually. Because, yeah, and, you know, maybe we get things in the future like weapon mods and all of that stuff, so we can really customize our Helldivers. So I think that's what's going to keep people coming back to the game. I think at the moment they've got, obviously the gameplay is really good. The mission types can kind of get a little bit boring, but they are doing a good job of adding new mission types in. So I think they'll keep doing that. We're going to see new enemies, which we are seeing added to the factions already in the game, but we'll see new factions. And then we're getting new weapons constantly in Warbonds, and then we're getting new armor. But I think they can still obviously refine a lot of these systems. Obviously, it's early days, so we would expect them to do that. But yeah, interesting stuff, and I hope they do this to the armor in the future. So there we go, guys. I mean, some pretty heavy-hitting topics, to be honest, in this video. The account linking stuff. I know a lot of people are going to be like, well, this doesn't really matter, Sty. You know, whatever. It takes 2 seconds to make an account. And I understand that. It does. And if you've already got a PSN account, maybe you've already done this, or you just don't even care anyway. But it's for those players who don't have PSN accounts. And I think one of the great successes of Helldivers 2 is it has done really well on PC. And without PC, the player base would be half the size. You know, I think actually it was a little bit more. It might be a little bit less than the console, than PS5. But it's basically half the player base. Those are players that wouldn't have touched this game because they don't have a PlayStation, they don't have a PSN account, but they are now playing the game on Steam, and then suddenly, a few months down the line, you're now making it a requirement that they actually have to have this in place to continue playing the game when they've got no intention of ever playing on that platform. I think, and honestly, I don't think this is outrageous to ask for, if you bought the game when it launched, within like a couple of week window or whatever you want it to be, Arrowhead, you should just be exempt from a PSN account. It just shouldn't even matter. The problem is, I know there's a lot of pressure coming in from Sony, and that's never going to happen. But that's really what should happen, isn't it? If you bought it on Steam, fair enough, you don't need a PSN account. But if you buy it from the date going onwards, let's say from, what was it, the 6th of May going onwards or whatever, then yeah, you do need a PSN account. I think that would be an okay compromise, because at least people walking through the gate would know straight away, I need a PSN account and I can't get around this. Whereas all of the literal millions of players that have come before this date, well, they've just been playing on Steam. And yeah, it's a bit of a shock to the system. All right, guys, thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below. I've been Stylosa. You can follow me on everything, which is @Stylosa. And do like the video if you do enjoy these videos. Leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel, and I'll do my best to keep you guys updated when it comes to Helldivers 2. I'll catch you on the next one. See you soon.